Hope you're having a good evening. Thanks for joining me on this Facebook Live and Twitter Live. If you're on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube too. Doing this live because we're going to be seeing some pretty warm weather, and that will lead to some chances of storms and maybe even some severe weather. So, record warmth will lead to storm chances for sure. And earlier during the afternoon today, we actually saw a record breaking high. It was quite warm for sure. We saw temperatures across the area in the 70s for some, in some areas, even in the 80s. Fayetteville hit 78 degrees. That's 23 degrees above the average high, and it did break the record for today, set back in 1950. And the morning low was quite warm too. And tomorrow is going to be even warmer. So, right now, it is a nice evening. You might want to pop that window open, get some fresh air in because the dew points are low. A nice cool feel, seeing some 50s and 40s. Fayetteville is a bit chilly, but Rogers 58 degrees. Fort Smith is at 58 too. So this evening is very nice, but tomorrow during the afternoon is going to become quite warm. We're seeing record-breaking highs Monday and Tuesday. We should shatter those records. And it will be a bit breezy. South winds are going to be increasing moisture all ahead of a very strong cold front that will move in Tuesday and Wednesday, and that will give us some chances for storms and maybe even some severe weather potential. And then beyond that, it is going to be very cold. We're going to be seeing some chilly weather come on Wednesday. But until then, check out those highs. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the 80s. So for this time of year, it's around 30 degrees above the average high. Tuesday, back in the 80s too. Then a cold front moves in. So we are getting some questions about severe weather. What severe weather are we going to be getting? It's going to be moving in late Tuesday into Wednesday if we get it. There's still some uncertainties here with the way the pattern is going to be unfolding next week. But what we do know is that it's going to be a strong cold front moving in Tuesday into Wednesday, and that will give us some much cooler weather after a very warm start. Right now, clear skies overhead, pretty quiet weather being seen as we expand the view. Now, tonight is going to be a quiet night, mostly clear. Heading throughout the day Monday, high clouds will begin to increase during the afternoon. And we're going to be seeing, even tomorrow, the potential for a pop up for a stray shower or storm tomorrow during the afternoon. I'm not expecting severe weather tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a stray shower or a storm tomorrow during the afternoon. There's a lot of energy coming in, still some uncertainty with the way the pattern is going to develop, and the models are underdoing the afternoon highs. So I think we might see a pop up shower or storm, especially in the River Valley tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we should be drying out ahead of Tuesday, which is going to be even warmer. So pretty quiet weather now, but I am tracking some activity offshore. Kenzie's saying can't wait for Twister season, especially with the new Twister movie coming out. Yeah, that trailer, yeah, it was on the background and it sounded very interesting. Yeah, so right now offshore, it is looking pretty active. There's a piece of energy west of the Pacific Northwest, and that will meet up with some energy moving in from the desert Southwest, and that will give us some active weather beginning late Tuesday into Wednesday, and that will send a cold front in, and that will give us some chances for some potential storm activity. Here's the European model showing storm activity Tuesday into Wednesday, and should be drying out quickly by Wednesday daybreak. It's going to be a fast moving front. There will be some instability in place, but still there is a lot of uncertainties with the way the pattern is going to develop by late Tuesday. The GFS model kind of has the storms firing up a little bit to our east, and the instability kind of sets up a little bit east of us, but we are still under a marginal risk of severe weather. So the SPC outlook here is the most recent one. They'll probably update this later on, or actually pretty soon here. But right now we're in the marginal, and that means that isolated severe storms are possible across the area. And again, the timing looks to be late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And as we expand the view, as of right now, the main risk seems to be to our north and east. But again, there is some uncertainties here, and we're going to have to watch for that risk to potentially make its way south. Um, Getting a lot of questions about will there be a high wind damage on Tuesday and Wednesday. Some questions about what's the main threat with these storms, any lightning. Yeah, so as of right now, there's still a lot of uncertainties with what this front is going to do. Um, I think as of right now, I'm most concerned about winds here. But again, there is going to be some shear moving in, so we could see some hail. Um, as far as tornadoes, again, there's always a non-zero chance for that, but it is going to be a quick moving system. If the variables align, the risk might get expanded. Jacob has a question. Could the slight risk be expanded back south into our area? Yeah, there's always that possibility. Again, there's still a lot of things to be ironing out with this system. We're going to get a better idea of what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon because all the energy is still offshore. So there's still the front could speed up, it could slow down, and there's still a lot of uncertainties here with this system. But there looks to be like there could be some instability in place, and I can show you some things right here. So, what do we need for severe weather? Well, we need to have the dew points on the increase. So we need to have some low level moisture moving in, and we need to have I think we're going to have that because the south winds are going to be on the increase as we go throughout Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures are going to be very warm, and the instability. I think dew points might even creep up into the 60s. So let's go. Can show you a dew point graphic and see what might be happening. So the first ingredient we need is the moisture. So let's see what happens there. Let's see if it moves in. Let's scoot over here. So here is right now. Dew points in the 40s, still pretty dry. Heading throughout the day, Monday, there will be an increase in that moisture. We're going to be in the mid 50s. So again, tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a stray shower or a storm tomorrow during the afternoon. And let me look at these comments here. Yeah, great comment right here. Yeah, looking like a very strong cap in place that looks to hold back the severe threats. The cams could still develop a few cells Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Yeah, as of right now, the short range models, the cams, the convective allowing models, they're pretty wishy washy with this event. And when that happens, usually, or at least some of the time, the severe threat doesn't pan out for us. But that being said, there is still some uncertainties. Things could change, and we're going to have to look for that. But as of right now, the severe storm threat looks low. But that being said, things could change, and there is going to be a brief window, I think, where we could see some severe weather if all the variables line up. So here's Monday. Dew points are going to be in the 50s. And then ahead of a strong cold front Tuesday evening, we're going to be approaching the 60s. Now that is moisture. That is some deep Gulf moisture for you right there. So I think we're going to have the moisture content there. So what else do we need? So number one, we need to have the low level moisture. So that's going to be there. It looks like instability. I think there's going to be some instability in place, but Cameron did mention the cap. Are we going to have enough instability to overcome the cap? That is going to be the question. But I'll tell you one thing, though. The models are definitely underdoing the afternoon temperatures. So with that being said, they're probably underdoing the CAPE, the storm fuel. So we can see a few models showing the instability return. Here's our in-house model showing Tuesday a brief window. So the front is, you can see it right there. Right here is draped across Benton County. It's going to be moving through Tuesday evening. There's a brief window where it looks like there could be some instability in place ahead of that front. And then it quickly goes away very, very fast. A little bit too fast there. But here's Tuesday at 11 p.m. Then instability is out of here by 2 a.m. So there's going to be a brief window where we might see some severe weather potential. So we have number one is the moisture, number two is the instability. What else do we need? What is number three? Well, it is the source of lift, and we're definitely going to be having the source of lift because it is going to be in the form of that strong cold front, and it is going to be a very strong cold front. And I'll show you why. Look at that temperature drop off. Tuesday going from the mid 80s to the mid 40s. That is a strong cold front. And they're going to be warming up after that. So we have a trigger mechanism. We have the moisture. We have the instability. Do we have wind shear? Low level wind shear for storms to rotate. We can look at the energy helicity index to look at that. So here is at the time when that cold front is expected to start making its way through. Now, the energy helicity index, what that is, it calculates the instability along with the low level wind shear. So it has a couple of variables and it makes it into one contour here. So the helicity is low level wind shear pretty much. And when taking into account the instability and the low level wind shear, we're definitely going to have all four ingredients. Now, the question is, are they all going to come together with this fast moving front? I was looking at some of the short range models that has the front moving in a bit later, and some of the models has the front moving in a bit sooner. So there is still some uncertainties with the way things will line up, but it looks to be a brief window where all the ingredients will be there for some severe weather. So here's a comment right here. If the models are underdoing the temps, they are almost certainly could be underdoing the ingredients. This could be enough to overcome the cap, even though the models don't show much right now. I could not have said it better, Jacob. I totally agree. And the models, they've been too cool all week, or at least all weekend, or at least today. They were definitely too cool. And I think they're going to be underdoing the instability in place for sure. Well, here's a question. Will we get a freeze warning for Tuesday into Wednesday? I don't think a freeze warning, but I think we will drop down to below freezing. I think that will definitely happen. Just look at this temperature drop off right here. Here, just in case you missed the newscast. Here's the 7-day forecast. So we're going to be in the 80s. And as far as record-breaking highs, check out Monday. The record was set in 1976, and it was 74 degrees. We're forecasting 83. That is crazy over the record, 9 degrees over it. Tuesday, even higher, 10 degrees over the record. So these records are going to be shattered both Monday and Tuesday. And then a strong cold front moves in. And check out the temperature difference between Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. We're going to be around 30 degrees wake up time Wednesday. So it's going to be quite the shock to your system for sure. And that might even be a little bit underdone. I was looking at some of the models and it has some 20-degree temperature readings moving in. So it's going to be very cold Wednesday. And then Wednesday during the afternoon with that breeze, we're only going to be in the 40s for those highs. And then Tuesday or Thursday, Friday, temperatures are going to be going up back to around average. March 1st is on Friday. First day of meteorological spring should be in the 60s. And then next weekend, back in the 70s. Maybe some more storms come next weekend. But until then, 85 to 43. My immune system is going to be on overdrive. Yeah. Kenzie, that is quite the temperature difference. And you don't see that every day. That is pretty rare to have a temperature change that much. River Valley, we're going to be pushing 90 Tuesday, and that does shatter the record once again. Cooling down to the 30s Wednesday morning, and then quickly recovering back by next weekend. But until then, um, hopped on this Facebook Live because we do have some storm potential making its way back in. Yeah, Cameron. Yeah, we're looking at that, and again, it is far out. A lot could change, but next week's setup definitely does look potent. And yeah, March looks to potentially start active. So definitely agree there. We're gonna have to be watching for that Sunday into Monday time frame at the end of this forecast stretch. But until then, we are under a marginal risk. Here it is right here. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions. If not, I'll probably end it because, again, there is still a lot of uncertainties, but it looks like there is going to be a brief window in time where all the ingredients might align to produce some severe weather. So we had the level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for Tuesday into Wednesday, mainly late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Severe storms look possible for us. And again, the main risk is to our north and east, but that can. We got some comments, but that could definitely shift further south. March 1st, opening day, trout fishing at Roaring River in Cassville. Warmer weather will be nice. Yeah, Friday, March 1st should be a nice day. Yep, looking good. Back in the 60s, maybe in the 70s. But until then, tomorrow is going to be extremely warm, leading to a strong cold front, giving us these chances for severe weather. So if you're just joining us, we are doing this Facebook Live because tomorrow and Tuesday we're going to be seeing some records being shattered. High temperature records are going to be going away, and we're going to be seeing some new ones, and that will lead to some chances for some storm activity. Cameron, Euro is attempting to develop a line of strong to severe storms Tuesday overnight. Yep, sure is. Yeah, we can look at the European. Let's actually get a wider view here. So here's Monday. Then here's that strong cold front moving in. Now notice the models, even the European, is still wishy-washy with the storm development. Definitely showing some precipitation over our forecast area, though. Let's take a zoom in there. So late Tuesday into early Wednesday, that looks to be the time frame where the models are kind of showing some potential for that severe weather. And again, this is all because of a strong cold front. And you can see even seeing some indications of some wintry precipitation to our north. I don't think we're going to see any kind of snow accumulations or any impacts from winter weather, but there is going to be a brief window where we could see some severe weather. So one last look at that risk, and if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. If not, I'll probably end it here. It's 11:30 p.m. It is we're in the marginal. So again, this will be updated shortly. Yeah. So we're looking at the potential, Susan, for storms Tuesday nights. Tuesday evening, so around 10 p.m. into just past midnight. And again, it's going to be a brief window with this fast moving strong cold front where we could see some severe weather. Here's a question. Do you think winter is done completely? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Tomorrow is definitely not going to feel like winter time. It's going to be quite warm. And as far as, well, the start of meteorological spring is actually Friday, so that's March 1st. But as far as snow is what you're probably wondering about is, I mean, I don't want to end it yet, but it's definitely looking like it is winding down. Remember, Phil did say early spring, Punxsutawney Phil, and we can even look at. Let me get a jet stream up here. Stand by. We can look at even further. Okay, here we go. So here's a Jetstream map. So this graphic right here is good for, yeah, it's good for showing weather patterns and if we're going to be warmer, colder, active patterns. It's just, and it's showing some winds too. So some Jetstream energy. So as we go forward in time, you can see we're back in southwest flow. Tuesday and Wednesday, that will give us some active weather. That's the storm potential. Cooling down in a big way. So, tell you what, Wednesday is going to feel like wintertime. Sure will. But I don't think we're going to be seeing snow Wednesday. And beyond that, looks to be warming up again. And then this system right here, Cameron mentioned this, that could be trouble Sunday into Monday. Again, it's a spring type pattern. That's going to be cooler, but then we quickly warm back up. So going through March 6th, it doesn't look like snow is in the forecast for us. So I think winter is definitely winding down, if not over. I don't want to say that we're not going to have another snowstorm, but yeah, what a trough. If things don't change, that could spell some trouble. I definitely agree. Yeah, Dan Scoff and I and Peyton, we were looking at that Friday, and it was showing it too. So, going to be watching that. But what we are pretty confident in is a big, strong cold front making its way in. That again, there's going to be a window where we could see severe weather potential. Let's look at some short range models and see what they're doing before we end this. Stand by. I'm going to load up the graph model isn't really showing much. I can show you that. Yeah, ignore the cold front. That's old. Let me. So here's Tuesday morning. Now here's the front coming through. It's really not showing a whole lot of convection here, but it is indicating that we might get some activity. So that was one of our shorter range models, and here is going to look at the NAM 3 kilometer. Here's Tuesday morning. Sorry about that. Here's Tuesday evening as that front passes through. Notice that temperature drop off. 64 Ozark, Bentonville, Rogers area, 42. That is a big drop off with a thin line of convection potentially moving through. Is there a tornado threat? What are the main threats? Yes, as far as the main threats here, again, there's still a lot of uncertainties, and it's going to be a quick window where a very short window in time where all the ingredients could potentially come together. As of right now, I think the main threat is going to be damaging winds. As far as a tornado threats, again, it's going to be non-zero. Could be a brief spin up as the front races through, and we're going to be monitoring that. I think we're going to get a much better idea of the threats come tomorrow afternoon. Once the energy comes on shore, the models are going to be doing a much better job at resolving the forecast in the short range. Is flooding going to be a threat? Nope. I do not think so. No, not with the fast moving nature of this front, and not with the question of whether or not we're going to get convection. I've seen it be warm in March, then we get a big snow the last days of March. Also, 2013 in May was freezing cold. Yeah, exactly, Susan. That's why I don't want to say that winter's over yet. But in the short term, it definitely looks like springtime weather for us, especially tomorrow. Even summertime weather tomorrow, we're going to be in the 80s, and then Tuesday approaching 90. So yeah, it's going to be very warm, and I'm looking forward to that. Should be nice to get outside. Okay, yeah. Convection is just storm activity. So a thunderstorm, that's what convection is. Goes to thermodynamics. Think about like you boil a pot of water, you get the steam to rise. Is kind of what happens in in the atmosphere. You get the sun heats the surface of the earth. You get a parcel of air to rise, and then as it rises, the um, the dew point will be reached as the vapor pressure drops, and then you get condensation. And if you get a lot of that, if you get a lot of instability, then you get storm activity, and that's what convention is. Cameron pulled a few soundings and noticed that your convective temps look to be 75, 80. If temps are underdone, we can see a few pop-ups before the front. Lots to watch. Oh yeah, definitely agree. And even tomorrow, I assume you're talking about Tuesday, Cameron. Even tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few pop up. If you saw a stray shower or storm tomorrow, as there's going to be a lot of energy moving in. I can show you right here. Yeah, Tuesday definitely. Yeah, yeah. So we could see a few pop ups before the front. So just look at all that energy. Hmm. Can't I draw? So even Monday, if you look over Arkansas, there's going to be a lot of energy moving in. So I think tomorrow could see a pop up storm. Cameron said it. We could see a few pop up storms Tuesday ahead of that strong cold front making its way in late Tuesday into Wednesday. What is the record temp on Tuesday? Heath, if you missed the newscast tonight, here is that 7-day, and that will explain to you how warm it's going to be. And we're definitely going to be seeing record breaking highs tomorrow. 110% tomorrow is going to be a record. Forecasting 83, and the record is 74. Sent back in 1976. And then Tuesday, the record is 75. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing some record breaking temperatures Monday and Tuesday ahead of that strong cold front. And that's going to be making its way in late Tuesday and Wednesday, giving us chances of storm activity. So earlier during the day, you probably, or you may have noticed About record-breaking highs on Tuesday. I'm ready to fly. Yeah, well, here, all right. This is Northwest Arkansas, so it means Fayetteville. I'm forecasting 85 degrees in Fayetteville with a record of 75. And if you're in the River Valley, here is what it is going to be in Fort Smith. Tuesday, 88 degrees. That will break the record of 79 set back in 1988. So Monday and Tuesday, widespread areas will have a record-breaking high temperatures tomorrow. It's going to be quite warm, all ahead of that strong front. And again, pretty soon this will be updated, but we're under a marginal risk of severe storms right now. And the main threat, again, looks to be a little bit to our north and east. Will that shift south? That is going to be the question. And the main time frame here looks to be Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning for those severe storms. So again, this will be updated shortly, but as of right now, we're looking at a marginal risk. And if anybody has any more questions, feel free to chime in. Been on this for about a half hour. Tomorrow, Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff and Meteorologist Peyton Langford will update you more on what's going to be happening. But as of right now, looking like a window where we could see some strong to severe storms Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And before that, it is going to be quite warm. So enjoy the warm weather and keep it here as we're going to update you more on the storm potential for Tuesday and Wednesday. Have a great night.